Warm Springs, Georgia. Originally founded as Bullockville in 1887, well, the sign says it all.
Complete with the legend of the town. A key to the city, if you will.
In Warm Springs, Georgia. It is the middle of December and it's Christmas time, and we're here on a Saturday night looking at the shops and the lights.
And shops and lights there are, most of which are located on the main strip as you pull into town. Now, Warm Springs is obviously right in the heart of FDR territory. The little White House is right up the street, and the Warm Springs back here where the pools where he used to bathe are, which I believe were an older Victorian pool that was refurbished by FDR and was used by him, and it still exists today and is a really neat place to visit. And there's a fish hatchery down the other way. Pine Mountain is just a hop, skip, and a jump from here, and just a really wonderful place to visit. After pulling into town, we decided to check out some of the shops, view the Christmas lights, and hear some Christmas music. Now, obviously there are a lot of these old shops around Warm Springs. Wonderful place, and at Christmas time it's really decked out for Christmas. But amongst all these shops, which all have, they all have a lot of Christmas decorations going on, every now and then you run across a little gem in one of these historic stores. Not to be confused with the nightclub downtown. This one used to be a bank. And the vault is still here. In fact, so is the safe. But they have made good use of this space, and it now has wonderful things for you to come and purchase to decorate your house. Signs of the season are everywhere. Some very traditional in nature. One of the places even has, apparently, samples.
This is a charming little shop with lots of Christmas decorations that you can buy, and they have jams and other crafts. It's really lovely store. After a little exploration of the one shop, we walked back out on the street and ambled around, eventually ending up at the Hotel Warm Springs. They certainly had the spirit of Christmas, and Stacey decided to do a little exploring.
And where were you?
I was in the old-timey phone booth in this historic hotel. That is a working phone in there.
A little bit more modern phone, but still a working phone. The phone booth is original to the building. This is the Hotel Warm Springs, which you saw from the outside. Decked out for Christmas, as many of the places here are during the Christmas season. Particularly rough nights when Santa gets to be, 600 years old? He may need a little mobility help. An old wheelchair, indicative of the FDR era.
At any given time, it's not hard to find something to do in Warm Springs, as they have guided tours.
And this is a working hotel. That's part of the reason why we can't get an interview, because they're actually busy. But I just want to point out that this is a working hotel. You can stay here. They've got a little display of the rooms. Are really nice. There's even a honeymoon suite with a little red heart-shaped tub.
That's what I figured how it works, right?
Yeah. Now we've just been filming in the lobby, but as you can see by the footage coming up, that it actually goes quite a ways back.
The hotel is a working hotel, but also contains shops as well.
All manner of little shops. And rooms you can actually stay in.
A little ice cream shop directly as part of the Hotel Warm Springs. It smells amazing in here. It smells like chocolate, it smells like ice cream, and it makes you want a shake, so we're going to get one. While Chaz made our shake, he also gave us a little information on Warm Springs during the season.
My name's Chaz. I work here at the Hotel Warm Springs, and we are in the ice cream parlor here. Just have tons of fresh fudge we just made. They kick off the Christmas season here the weekend before Thanksgiving. Usually we have a big parade like the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and then starting that weekend, all the shops have all their lights on, and they stay open till 8 or 9 on the weekends, whereas normally everything closes around 5 or 6.
Only in the South can you enjoy a milkshake in December. That's one of the things that makes Christmas down here so nice.
In the floor you see the hand-laid tiles, original from 1907. All of them hand-laid. How is the shake?
It's delicious.
So what are we going to do now?
Now we're going to take a little peek upstairs.
Excellent.
And up the creaky stairs we go, accompanied by Chaz is giving us a little tour of the second floor. So we're following him.
Social parlor here, checkers, old school games.
Ooh.
Well, I'll take you on down to the honeymoon suite if you want to do that.
Cool.
Show you that at least.
Wow. The honeymoon suite.
That's it. King size bed, suspended camper.
Honeymoon suite comes with its own train.
Wow is the only word I can think of for this. Black tile floor. And the melodious sound of a train going by outside.
I'd like to thank Chaz Douglas for the tour of the Hotel Warm Springs, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you will come here one day soon, because it really is a really nice place. Chaz, I think you guys.
We are back out on the streets. Stacey is finishing up the shake we both drank. It was delicious.
It was really good.
And you can see the hotel Tuscaloosa is what it was at one time. It is now the Hotel Warm Springs. And look down this way.
Back out on the street, I want to say that it was a real pleasure to meet Chaz. He was a very nice fellow and was very cooperative in the making of this. And Warm Springs goes all out with their Christmas lights.
Heavy traffic was constant through the town as we were there. People passing through and coming to see the Christmas decorations.
Warm Springs is such a beautiful town. We go down Eleanor Abbey alley.
Now, this alley looks dark, cold, and creepy at night, but I promise you during the daytime it is lovely. And it leads to a wonderful courtyard behind some of the buildings. And beyond that is something else.
Although not active at this particular time, perhaps this particular time of the year, or certainly this time of the day, directly behind the main area of Warm Springs, and it's too dark to shoot because it's not lit up, is a beautiful little courtyard that during the daytime is a wonderful place to be. So Warm Springs goes a little beyond the main drag. Though not directly related to Christmas, this is part of Warm Springs and a staple in my youth when I lived in this area. Max Barbecue. You cannot, repeat, cannot go wrong. Thing I cannot leave out, which is decked out for Christmas and is slightly related to Christmas and Max Barbecue, is Max Steaks, which is directly behind Max Barbecue and has the finest steaks in Warm Springs. Joining back up with Stacey, and you can see the Warm Springs has a wealth of influx from local and surrounding areas. And just happens to be right on a railroad track. Coming around from behind the main area of Warm Springs where Max was, start to see more Christmas stuff. Warm Springs is always bustling. Amidst the constant flow of traffic, one place that is really good is the Paradise Grill. Look over here, and this may be a little veering from the subject, but as stated in the Eufaula day trip, I've got a thing about trains.
This footage is a little dark, but this really is a neat item.
1950s steam engine.
Used for low clearance and removing samples from the diamond mines in Arkansas.
But how often do you see a real operating 6-foot locomotive?
And yes, I do realize it's a little longer than 6 feet, but I'm wondering if Santa can leave this under my Christmas tree.
One thing I do not see or hear in Warm Springs, aside from the oncoming rush of really fast traffic, is Christmas music played out on the streets. However, within each shop, you will hear really nice Christmas music playing. Traditional, although I heard some sax
like jazzy Christmas music playing in one of them in the hotel.
The hotel had jazz.
And all of these types of Christmas music are wonderful in their own right.
Warm Springs is beautiful with all the Christmas lights, and I encourage you to come here during the summer as well. They have a spring fling, and it's just a wonderful place to visit any time of the year.
There's something to come here for during the springtime, but that's another day trip. And so we say farewell to Warm Springs, Georgia, a town with a rich history that has traditions that carry on even to this day.
And with Stacey's encouragement, we had the idea to jump on over to Pine Mountain and check them out.
So the roads at night may not be the most appealing things in the world up here. And you finally come into Pine Mountain, where there's bright lights and civilization. And we're checking this out to see if it's possible. There's some Christmas decorations up here.
We're in Pine Mountain.
Where there are indeed Christmas decorations.
Pine Mountain does not have quite the decorative festivities that Warm Springs does. Still a nice peaceful area, and it does have some pretty lights. There's a Christmas tree in the center of town.
And for those who may wish to know a little more,
The only drawback to these small southern towns is that they roll up the sidewalks pretty early. But here's a little history on Pine Mountain.
we hope you have enjoyed joining us on this trip to Warm Springs and Pine Mountain during the Christmas season. Pine Mountain has Callaway Gardens, which plays host to Fantasy and Lights, which is a beautiful experience. Warm Springs is great any time of the year. And just beyond Pine Mountain is a place called White Sulphur Springs, which was a resort back in the early part of the 20th century. But back on point, Stacey McCarty and I, Brian Mallard, wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas.